What was the impact of Stalinism on agriculture? Have you ever wondered how a political ideology can reshape an entire sector? The impact of Stalinism on agriculture is a fascinating example of this. Let's break it down. Stalinism brought about a major shift in Soviet agriculture through a policy called collectivization. This aimed to modernize farming by combining small, individual farms into large, state-controlled collective farms known as kolkhozes. The idea was to replace traditional farming with large-scale operations that could use modern machinery and techniques. This was supposed to boost agricultural productivity and create surplus food to support rapid industrial growth. At first, collectivization was presented as a voluntary process. However, many peasants, especially wealthier ones called kulaks, resisted. This led to a harsh and forced implementation between 1930 and 1933. Many peasants chose to destroy their crops and livestock rather than give them to the state. In response, the government took severe actions, including the elimination of the kulak class, mass deportations, and even executions. This created widespread suffering in rural areas. Despite the goal of increasing productivity, the immediate results of collectivization were quite the opposite. Agricultural output sharply declined. The disruption of traditional farming practices, inexperienced management of large collective farms, and poor incentives for workers all contributed to lower yields. Additionally, the state's grain requisition policies prioritized feeding urban populations, which worsened food shortages in the countryside. One of the most tragic outcomes of Stalinist agricultural policies was the Great Famine of the early 1930s. This famine resulted from forced grain requisitions, poor harvests, and the chaos caused by collectivization. Millions of peasants died from starvation, yet the Soviet government under Stalin denied the existence of the famine and suppressed information about it. Although collectivization eventually established a system of state-run farms that lasted until the end of the Soviet Union, agricultural productivity did not recover to pre-collectivization levels until around 1940. Even then, the system remained inefficient and struggled to meet the population's food needs without ongoing state intervention. From the perspective of communism aligned with Stalinism, collectivization was seen as a necessary step to abolish private land ownership and eliminate class enemies like the kulaks. It aimed to create a socialist agricultural system that could support broader goals of industrialization and social equality. While it aimed to modernize agriculture, the severe costs and human suffering were immense. In summary, the impact of Stalinism on agriculture was marked by forced collectivization, repression of peasants, an initial drop in productivity, widespread famine, and the establishment of a state-controlled agricultural system. While it achieved the political goal of collectivizing agriculture, it also led to immense hardship and long-term challenges for farming in the Soviet Union.